Hello everybody, hope you all and enjoy Easter break and with sunshine. Once again, let's talk more with Romail Gulzar. Today my studio guest is very well-known publisher from Leicestershire growing into Midlands. Let's find out more. Stay tuned, let's talk more. Jenny, welcome to Let's Talk More. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Not seen you for good few years.
Yeah, it has been. Well, we've been hiding away for the last year anyway, haven't we? But yes, it's been a little while.
Jenny, it's a pleasure to talking to one of fellow publisher. Before we're going to your fantastic magazine called Niche to learn about a bit more how it started. Tell us about people need to know who's Jenny Cross.
Jenny Cross is just Jenny Cross. You know, nothing particularly exciting. I'm a mum of 3 kids. I've got a fantastic team that I bounce off, some fantastic friends, you know, that I've met along the way through business that have become sort of mentors and again, close friends. Just a normal person, nothing out of the extraordinary, just very passionate about what I do.
So Jenny, you're brought up in Leicester. Which part of Leicester are you born?
So I grew up in Oadby. My dad still lives there in our family home. So we always lived in Oadby. The house he's in, we moved there when I was 3 and yeah, he's still there. So our offices are Oadby as well, funny enough. So it's always stayed quite local to that.
What's your best thing found in Leicester?
The best thing for me in Leicester is the business community and how supportive it is. So people genuinely want to support you and they want to see you succeed. And I think we've got a much tighter knit business community than many other cities. And that's something I'm massively proud of and something I wouldn't want to ever see change.
So you went to school in Leicester or Leicestershire?
Yes, I did. Yes, in Oadby. So I went to Broxhill Gartrey, then Beecham. I'm alumni for Beecham, so I do a lot of work with that college still now to support them. I think it's really important to bridge the gap between education and real life. And having 3 kids as well, you know, I can see the benefits that they would reap from there being, you know, more of a bridge there. So yeah, I do a lot of work with the colleges to try and support that from careers days to support on other projects. So.
And when you graduated?
Well, funny enough, I actually left college with just a handful of GCSEs. So I didn't actually graduate at all until just the other year when I'd been doing some work with DMU's Leicester Castle Business School. And one of the ladies there at the time was telling me how I should really give it a go and do this professional coaching course. So eventually I agreed to, completely out my comfort zone, but felt like I really wanted to get a qualification. A lot of my friends have got massive qualifications. You know, I'll go for dinner with friends of mine who've got MBEs and OBEs. You know, these people are so successful, and I always felt a bit like I'm just me. I've just got a handful of GCSEs. So it was quite nice to try and get a qualification. And I don't think at the time I realised how much of an effect it would have. But I went to Leicester Castle Business School. I did a postgrad in professional business coaching. It was one of the toughest things I've done because you have to write assignments and do Harvard referencing. Well, I've never even written an A-level paper, so I had no idea how to do any of this. So I would go home and then Google, what's Harvard referencing? What does this mean? My head works too fast for my hands. So I ended up dictating my assignments into my phone and then editing it on the page. So I got through it and I graduated, and I actually got to wear the gown and the cap and have a full graduation. But the benefit of it actually was so much more than what I imagined. We've, off the back of that, rolled out a much more of a coaching culture within our business, which has really helped us develop the team. So each department head is really sort of, you know, owning their roles. Best thing I ever did. So yeah, hugely proud that I actually achieved it, because after day one, I really wanted to just quit. But I stuck it out, graduated, got through it, and it's had a huge knock-on effect. So probably one of the best things I've done.
Jenny, as you mentioned, you did not go to university, but people are in a similar position, young people, male or female. What's your message to them?
My message would be, it's your attitude that counts more than anything. So from my point of view, I would always hire will over skill. So I can teach somebody to do a role if they've got the passion to do it and the grit and the determination. But it's very different if you've got somebody that can do the job but doesn't want to. So it's two very different things. So for me, I would say, yes, get your education, kids, do what you can. However, don't let it eat you up if you don't. It's not the end of the world. Some of the most successful people I know haven't had qualifications, but what they have had is a really, really great attitude towards work. They don't give up. They've got what we call resilience. And I know a lot of schools bang on about resilience all the time. And I know my kids roll their eyes when we talk about resilience, but actually it's probably one of the biggest and most important factors, I think.
Every person in childhood have a dream. What's your dream was when you grow and you graduate and you want to be a lawyer or you want to be an accountant or you want to be what's your passion was?
So I always wanted to be a social worker. I wanted to help families and help kids. I left college. Having not finished my last assignment on my health and social care GMVQ, and I fell into a job doing some telesales, and I ended up staying there and doing quite well at the sales, earning some good money. At that point, all my friends and my older brother were skint at uni and I wasn't. So I decided not to go. And it just went from there, really. I just enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people and meeting people. Most people that know me will know I like talking. So it was the dream job, really. So I never went on to do the social work in the end.
Jenny Cross from Niche Magazine. How many hours you spend in the kitchen?
Wow. That's funny. I go through patches. So having kids, I often get what I call mum guilt, where I've whizzed them up spaghetti bolognese 3 nights in a row because it's easy and quick to cook. And then I think, you've got to be a better mother. You've got to feed these kids properly. And then I'll spend ages doing it and the kids will help. And well, the girls will help. Sean's often too busy chatting with his friends and stuff. But we often get involved, all of us, and do that. So more time now. However, I can't say I always do that because often I'll get into this busy rut and end up doing sort of quick meals, stick something in the slow cooker at the start of the day and then just serve it up in the evening.
What's your favourite book?
My favourite book, that is so easy. It's a book by a guy called Donald Miller and it's called Building a Story Brand. And it's probably one of the best books I've ever read in regards to marketing. And every single person that joins our company is given a copy of this book on their first week and they have to read it. And each chapter they come in and they'll discuss it over coffee with their team, with their department in the morning. It's just one of the easiest books to read, but really makes, when you read a book and you go, oh, I get it now. Oh, that makes sense. It's one of those books. So it's a book that I'll probably recommend more than anything to a lot of people. Certainly if I'm doing any mentoring around marketing, I'll always recommend that book. Best £10 you'll ever spend.
Favorite sport?
My favourite sport, I've got to say, I feel like my dad needs to hear me say football. But I do quite like going to watch the rugby. For not just for the rugby, so Leicester Tigers, I just enjoy the atmosphere down there. I enjoy watching the game. I enjoy the company when you go down there. And I do tend to spend more time there than anywhere else. However, I have got a season ticket at Leicester City. I've had it since I was 8. And that's always been massive in my childhood, remembering going down to the City ground with my dad. And also as a kid, I grew up going to the Riders. I remember when they used to play at Granby Halls. So many, many years ago. So I do like all of the sports, but I think probably the rugby. However, you might see me soon playing in a charity cricket match. So watch this space.
Finally, favorite country for holidays?
Well, I would say that's a bit of a difficult one. I love this country for holidays. I particularly love harbours. So Brixham in particular is an absolute favourite place of mine. And it's easy to go to, so you can escape there so easily. I've got loads of great memories of Gran Canaria with the kids, taking them. Obviously, it's not too far, so it's easier on the plane to travel with the kids. However, I did a long weekend just before lockdown, actually. I did a long weekend in Dubai with my sister. And what a weekend. It was just amazing. So I can't say as I've got a favourite place to go on a holiday or country. I would say it's probably a mix. And also I like trying new things. So I don't think I could ever go to the same place constantly.
You like to explore.
Yeah.
But you're right, as I always say, Great Britain, such a beautiful country in our home. So much local visit to do.
Absolutely.
And with the small budget as well.
Mm.
So all sort of things there in our home. That's great. Jenny, earlier when you talk about you didn't go to university and you end up GCSE, what challenge you face right now? Or you ever have regret if you went to uni and you will be more successful?
I don't have any regrets, to be honest. For me personally, I feel that regrets are a bit of a waste of time. They zap up a lot of energy and they come with a lot of negativity. I think it's just a matter of learning from it. I'm quite happy with how my life's worked out. So I'm a big believer in the universe. I think what you put out is what you get back. And I think that everything sort of happens for a reason anyway. So there's a certain amount of grab your opportunities when they come along. But I think things always work out in the end. So I don't have any regrets. The only thing I would say is if I'd have gone to uni, it would have been great for the social scene. I think I'd have enjoyed that. But bar that, I don't have any regrets around it.
That's very positive. Everybody over 12 months now been in lockdown and had impact on their mental health or personal life. What impact have in your personal life?
So I had I've had a lot of mum guilt trying to homeschool kids while running a business. Obviously I've got a fantastic team and they're more than just work colleagues. A lot of them have worked with me from the word go for years and years, and they've each got a family. So I felt very much like there was a massive duty to make sure that we survived and got through COVID, and everybody still had their jobs, obviously, because they've all got families. But the knock-on effect is there was no way I was able to homeschool my kids. You know, 2 of my kids have got the biggest personalities ever. It's quite hard to deal with. They're me, basically. And then one who's just a dream and just kind of cracks on. So she did a lot of work. The other 2 probably didn't do any. And I felt so bad. And every time you speak to someone or you're on social media, people are talking about, they've baked cakes with their kids and they've done this and they've homeschooled here. And I'm thinking, I must be the worst mum in the world. My kids are at the University of Life currently. They're learning how to make me coffee. They're making the dinner. They're cooking pasta. So they learned a lot, but not so much the education side. But I felt really bad over that. And that plays on your mind, It was a lot of long hours at the start as well. So no time even with the kids either, let alone homeschooling them, because we had to then change everyone's marketing plans because clearly they wouldn't work. We had to put processes into the business for everybody to be able to work from home. So yeah, it was massively challenging. I think the big thing that I learned was I need to slow down to move forward faster. So it's okay to take a break and to have a day off or to not work all evening. Actually, I need to recharge and spend that quality time.
Jenny, cross production. How that happened, where it started?
Oh, this is a story. Okay, so when I left college and I went to the newspaper company to do telesales, it was a privately owned newspaper company. I was there for nearly 9 years, and a few things happened while I was there. And over time, I decided it wasn't really the right place for me. I didn't really fit in so much. My thoughts on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to achieve just wasn't really, it wasn't the right place for me to grow there. I was 6.5 months pregnant with my first child, and something happened and I probably let the hormones get the better of me and I quit. I walked out 6.5 months pregnant. Much to at the time, my husband was like, shocked. What have you done, Jen? But it was what it was. It didn't feel right and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to work there. So I quit. And when Sean was born and when he was 4 months old, I set up on my own my own magazine. I thought, right, I can sell the space. I'll get an accountant to do the numbers. I'll get a designer to do the design. How hard can it be to run a magazine? Little did I know. So I ran that company for 5 years. In that time, I had my second child. I didn't know any management skills. I'd got no leadership skills, no management skills, and I was rubbish at it. And Jessica was 2 days old when I was back at work full time. I then had Isabel, and I think I had 2 weeks off with her actually. My grandma had passed away just at the same time as she was born, so it was challenging. The knock-on effect of 3 kids under the age of 5 trying to run a business, not having a clue how to do it, winging it basically, we ended up going into voluntary liquidation when Isabel was a year old. So I lost everything. So the home we'd got, I had to sell to pay off all the debtors. Well, there wasn't actually many debtors, to be fair, but the ones we'd got, I wanted to pay off. So although we were limited and it was protected by the company, so to speak, it just didn't feel right for me. So sold up, paid off, went to my accountants, sat there and cried, which was quite an unusual thing for me. I think they were a bit shocked and said, what am I going to do? And they said, you're going to do it all over again. And I did. So we registered the company there and then, hence the totally unoriginal name, Cross Productions. And with my best friend Leanne by my side and my other best friend, my sister, the three of us pulled up our socks and bought 3 desks from IKEA on the credit card before the bank took it off me. Put the sofa on one end, and from my front lounge, while the house was being sold, got cracking. So Emily, who's one of our journalists now, she worked for me at the old place and she stayed with us as well. I would go upstairs, have a cry for 10 minutes, come back down and get back on with it and pick up the phone and try and sell some more ad space. And that's how it all started. So literally started from absolutely nothing and a really bad place. So I had a quite a big breakdown, which was awful. I'd got 3 kids. It was pretty awful, to be fair. And I couldn't have done it at all without Sally and Leanne and Emily, who stood by me. So we've just had our 8th birthday. So that's been pretty good going. And obviously I'm doing a lot of work to try and always develop my management and leadership skills these days. So hopefully we'll never be in that position again. But I think losing everything makes you realise what's important. We run our company on quite strong ethical values, not just for our team, but also for the clients that we work with as well. So we're not looking to be the biggest, but we do want to be the best at what we do. That doesn't mean that we'll monopolise the marketplace, because we'll never be that big. But there's always enough work for everybody anyway. So just, I think, be good at what you do, enjoy what you do, and do it honestly.
Jenny, speaking to fellow publisher, this is very interesting, and we've been in the same Pukaar is running for nearly 10 years in the magazine. It's no easy journey, as you described earlier. You go to accountants, go to designer, go to writers, and magazine will be out. That's not the case. Mom with 3 kids running magazine called Niche, very well known magazine, very well produced.
Thank you.
And is always challenged to every edition to produce. What's the biggest challenge so far you have in your 8-year journey?
In reference to just Niche, I would say the biggest challenge we have is deadlines, and it's the stress that is the knock-on effect. To be fair, it doesn't particularly affect me, you see, because I'm not the one doing that work, so I can't take the credit for how great it looks. We have an editor and a design editor who do all of that, and that's completely down to them. We have Sally running the team who works on the features and the ideas. So I genuinely can't take any credit for it at all. But I would say the biggest challenge we have is the amount of work that comes in last minute because of deadlines. And although you'll know what it's like, you can give deadlines and often they're not met, and then you end up with all this copy last minute, but yet we've got a slot at the printers, so then our designer will end up working absolutely crazy amount of overtime, and it's not healthy, it's not right, and she's got a family herself, she shouldn't be doing it. So that's the biggest challenge, but it's one that I'm massively determined to sort out. And it's funny but not funny, because after each issue we'll always say, right, well, let's get this sorted. We can't do this again. And Susan must think, I've heard this before, but we are working on it at the moment, working on new processes. We're having a new CRM system built that will help with a lot of that stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to help Susan out, because it's her mainly that is the one that takes the brunt of it.
You think publishing magazine is a value for money in current days?
No, you don't make money off magazines. In my opinion, we certainly don't. But it's a brilliant business card as such. It gets our name out there. It showcases other services that we offer. We advertise in our own magazine and get a lot of business off that, which is brilliant. So it's good to know it works well. But no, it's not. Magazines aren't really money makers. There is no money in that industry. But there is a massive need for magazines. It's tangible. People trust what's in there, which is why it's so important that we don't just follow the money and you go with the right people. So you'll know yourself, obviously, running your magazine, you can't just take an advert off anybody. You have to make sure that each business that you feature in your magazine is a credible business, because otherwise it devalues what you're doing and it dilutes everything. So yeah, there's a massive place for magazines. I don't think that'll ever die. However, no, there isn't loads of money in it, not like 10 years ago.
Cross production, niche magazine started from Leicester or Leicestershire. No, growing the wings across the Midlands. How comfortable you thinking next few years will be, especially the economy is not bounced back yet. How comfortable you are, this will be really go strength to strength.
I have every confidence in it. I feel that we've made a really smart move in becoming a patron of East Midlands Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is fantastic, and that reaches out across Nottingham and Derby as well as Leicestershire. So by affiliating our company with that, we're aligned with some outstanding names. Obviously, yet again, they've got a very strong president. Lucky for me, I'm friends with her, so I can pick her brains when need be. I can take her for lunch or go for a wine with her when allowed, and sort of say, "So Eileen, what's your thoughts on this?" So I'm very lucky in that sense, and that's because I've built a really strong friendship over a number of years. So we've used that as an opportunity to be able to expand out. We'll send the team out to work the different areas, to build friendships and relationships in those areas, which will be nice, because obviously when it started in Leicester, it was myself doing a lot of that networking. And quite honestly, I think I'm too tired to do that half the time now. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great opportunity for our team to grow and to grow personally and develop. And yeah, so that's the plan.
I heard many time over the years, when people see Pukaar magazine and niche magazine sitting in the same platform, people think, oh, when I turned up, they're saying, oh, there's your competition. You heard the same.
Yeah, always. And when I see niche next to Pukaar magazine, I feel proud, because I think here we are, we're two fantastic magazines and we've both got so much to offer. And like we've often said, there'll always be, the odd bit of overlap. However, we live in such a busy world. There's enough business for everybody anyway. We're both passionate about what we do and we both do a great job. That doesn't mean that we need to be in competition, does it?
Your face is very well known everywhere. Jenny Cross, this. Where do you find that energy?
I think I've probably got ADHD, if I'm honest, and it wasn't diagnosed back when I was a kid. I don't relax from sitting still. I like being busy. If I'm sat on the sofa, I'm quite happy to flick through my LinkedIn and, comment on things. Also, I'm a huge believer in success breeds success. I think that you should drop positivity everywhere that you can. There's no space in my life for negativity at all. So yeah, I don't know where I find it. But again, I have got an outstanding team, and because they're all very active on their social channels, then that obviously, massively fast tracks things. So I would say it comes down to more relationships and friendships that have been built over the years. So it's probably not always just me that's doing it. It's the knock-on effect, the ripple effect from having a great supportive network.
Out there, people watching this, and they have the same dream like I have and you've been publishing 80 years, a very successful magazine. What's your advice or tip for them? They want to go into that route.
I would just say, really, and this would be the same across any industry, make sure you know where you want to go, have a goal. So I would always explain it, and it's a bit like your marketing journey, isn't it? So, if you're here and you're going here, how are you going to get there? And there will be diversions along the way, but you've got to stay focused on what your goal is. So I would say, get your head down, focus, time management, be organised. And, as long as you can do that and you keep the passion in your belly, then you'll be fine.
Jenny, finally, how you can describe Jenny Cross?
I think I'm just a normal person, just like you or I, just another person that's just passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do. And I want to see other people do well.
Jenny, thank you very much, and really pleasure talking to you. And I hope see you soon, very soon, and somewhere in Leicester or Leicestershire or in Midlands. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I hope everybody learned something new and enjoyed Jenny's Cross story from Cost Production and Niche Magazine. As she said, mom with 3 kids, a lot of challenge, business follower, but she's bounced back. Be a game changer. Be a positive like Jenny. I learned myself something, and I hope you too. I will be back next week with a new guest. Let's talk more with Romail Gulzar.